This is a Morning Blend Extra. Today's guest has been working with teens, tweens, and their families for more than 15 years. Today, he is here to help parents cope when kids talk back. Dr. John Duffy is a clinical psychologist, certified life coach, parenting expert, and parent of a teenager himself. He is also an author. He wrote this book called The Available Parent, and today he's here to help with sass. So I always, in my dream fantasy world, I'm thinking, you have a teenager who never talks back. Is this true?
No, of course it's not true. No. I think every teenager talks back, and I actually, to be honest with you, think it's developmentally appropriate for teens to talk back. I worry about the kids who don't. So if your kid is talking back to you on a regular basis, you're doing it all right, and developmentally they're in a good place. It's just a pain in the neck.
Yes, it is a pain. And parents, it's embarrassing sometimes.
Yes.
Parents struggle with it. They worry about it. For me, I've found that I've started thinking I'm not a good parent because my daughter just turned 14. It just started kind of within the last year, and I'm like, she doesn't respect me. I'm not a good parent.
Yes.
That's what I feel when it happens.
Well, and Molly, you touch on something important there. It's a matter more of respect than the idea of pushing back or talking back, which we want to see a little bit of because that shows our children that they have some agency over their lives. But if they're disrespectful, we need to show them that's not okay. Somehow, as parents, we need to find a way to either model that that's not okay or to lay down the law gently enough that they're willing to follow it, that that's not okay.
I asked my daughter last night, why do you talk back? And it's a question I'd never asked her, but I did because you were going to be visiting today. And what she said is, it's when you don't listen. And I think I'm always willing to listen. I was going to ask you, why do you think kids talk back?
I think part of it is that they don't feel heard, and so they're going to make their point any way they can. They'll talk louder, they'll talk more disrespectfully. But when I talk to kids, I think your daughter has actually got something there because they don't necessarily feel like they're heard or listened, and so they want to make sure they are. They want to know that they have some agency in their home so that they can generalize that into agency in the world at large.
Sometimes what happens is they roll their eyes, they slam doors, or what I think is worse and hardest to deal with is when they just turn and walk away, or they disengage, or they say they won't do something, they refuse, almost like a toddler.
Right, right.
Are there any effective strategies? Okay, so your point is you don't want to do away with it altogether because it's a sign of independence and emerging independence. But how do you keep it respectful? How do you let them know that you're a parent and you need to be respected?
All right, this is really important. In the moment, it's very difficult to do that. But at a time of calm, to set the standard and say, there are times I notice when you walk away, when you will not listen to me, and that's not acceptable to me. And you establish a way of managing those tense times, but not when it's tense. If you try to do that when it's tense, it's never going to work. But if you can do it at a calm time, then you might get some headway, and you can say during those tense times, hey, we already talked about this, and we decided how we were going to handle difficult times like this. It won't be perfect, but it'll be better than just being disrespected.
Does the iron fist ever work? Slapping a child, punishing them, in your opinion?
I've worked with many parents who have told me with great assurance that iron fist works, but in my experience, honestly, when I talk to their kids, I think their kids always find an end around that iron parenting. I don't think that really works effectively.
This is good information. We're going to put up some more information so that people can get a hold of your book, The Available Parent, and reach you. It's Dr. John Duffy.